Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are checking out some real lifetime action war for SOS 1-3, which is the TFS, EIS, BxS, and NOIR Kingdom. Now, passes opened up about 30 minutes ago as of recording right now, and you can see that TFS and AFS are going hamsicles right now against BxS and SXB at their pass. Constant rallies, constant reinforcing, and at the same time, right, remember the two big things that we talked about, which is that the possible flank from EIS, EIL, and then what is NOIR and NO2 going to be doing against them as well. You can see the madness that is already pretty much ensuing currently, right? Which is that we end up having... Okay, thank you. Close the door. And so anyways, we end up having right now where EIS and EIL are massing a murderous ball of intent that is coming up to this level 3 spire and is pretty much going to be flanking AFS and TFS, and they're already kind of scrounging right now. I would have to imagine they hopefully already have had some kind of plan in place where they can kind of keep up the defense on the bridge, because really you have to think about this, right, in this kind of an all-out. We'll show you where NOIR and NO2 are as well, and as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us out because it helps out a lot. So the big implications here is, first and foremost, I just think this is amazing to see because we're getting so much variety in PvP and the different tactics as well that's happening in this Zone 3 cross, even though, yes, I'm more of a fan of, I would have rather seen all the crescendo fighting happen in Final Zone, but obviously we're neither here nor there. And so, when we look at this situation, you have not only EIS, EIL flanking, but then you have NO2, NO, NOIR flanking as well. But the difference is that EIS and EIL are a lot closer to engaging on the flank than NOIR is, and we'll show you that real quick. So NOIR is basically still chilling here from what I last saw in front of this spire. They haven't done anything. Now maybe they're going to use maybe a Staff of the Prophet kind of a thing, or maybe they're delayed. I'm not really sure exactly why they're stopping, but they have halted here. And you can see how far it is from this level 3 spire all the way over here to the forefront, right? And again, there's nothing really happening, right? So you always have to kind of think about it like the first group to assist their team on the flank is going to be able to alleviate pressure from the other side when they're out and fighting, right? So again, maybe NOIR has something up the sleeve, but if not, and they do end up having to make that manual trek all the way up, then TFS and AFS are in a little bit more of a dire situation because they're basically having to reinforce some legions on their defense, which is taking away the efforts that they're making on the pass. Because of that, because they're the first ones that are kind of being put in danger where that pressure is being alleviated, now this means that BxS and SXB may actually have an opportunity at getting a hold of the pass. Now, you also have to consider this. If TFS and AFS are going to defend the flank, there's kind of two ways of looking at this. One, you really only have to beat them back one time, and then you're going to allow yourself to gain that much more time in replenishment and in being able to re-prepare, right? Because after that happens, then you can refocus all your efforts on BxS and SXB. So the two ways of playing this out is you either A, wait for EIS and EIL to start attacking you, and in hopes of, I don't know, right, maybe you getting additional support, maybe having some more people come online. But personally, I actually feel as though a better play is the moment that AFS and TFS are ready to engage, to start engaging as soon as possible. Why do I say that? Because the walk back for EIS and EIL is going to be a long one. TFS and AFS are able to replenish their troops a lot faster than EIS and EIL are, and the faster that they deal with this group, the sooner they will be able to get back to the pass fight, and then really is just allowing for NOIR and NO2, right, buying them that much more time to be able to come and support, right, on their respective flanks from the EIS, EIL side, but probably more importantly on the BxS, SXB side. So for me, I'm more of the position that they just need to basically YOLO and go all in the moment that they are ready to do so and start engaging on that front. Right, apply as much pressure as humanly possible, right? Because the thing is, you kind of want to attack them I would say in kind of a fell swoopish, if you will, right? Like, I don't know if maybe picking them off kind of one by one is really the play here. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't maybe at the end of the day kind of matter because they're still going to have a long walk back no matter what. But if you're able to get more of them walking back at the same time compared to like if you just have a little force that's kind of picking them off one by one, I mean, maybe you could still apply the same logic where it's like you're poking them and you're just lowering down the group as a whole, making it easier for when you do engage. But then are you going to be able to last long enough and hold the pass long enough for it to be worth you committing these players and legions here on this front? Now, maybe it's one thing where everyone that's on the pass, maybe they already have a plan, right? Maybe the plan is, okay, we already know what our reinforcement is going to be like. Everyone just needs to make sure you're resupplying one unit, and then you're going to send your other 3 to 4 legions over here to the flank, right? Maybe it's something as simple as that. I imagine there probably has to be some kind of a general benefit on them being able to capture the pass first, and maybe them playing defense if that ends up factoring in a little bit easier for them to hold, regardless of them getting double, triple rallied, right? Which I think right now they're getting double. Oh, there is 3. I thought there was only 2, but yeah, so they're getting triple rallied right now. But is this something as easy as, okay, they're just going to keep this going back to back to back, and they're just going to be able to keep replenishing? Are they dedicating a certain amount of people on replenishment so that way they're just focusing solely on reinforcing the rally to delay this as long as possible? You know, again, if they've figured out the strategy and they've figured out the tactics and the approach, then this can very much be worth it in that regard, where they're now able to buy enough time to where they can set this up. Personally, I actually would have rather almost seen, and on the EIS EIL side, I almost would have rather seen them go in a lot faster and basically attack the bridge before AFS and TFS were able to get set up. And I say that because if you're pushing in with a larger force and you're hitting them one by one, or in smaller batches, you're already creating ratio advantages for yourselves when you're out there in the open field. What this also means is that you would then have a higher percentage chance of being able to push past the bridge and then being able to push all the way through here, kind of discombobulating, or just attacking them as they're kind of coming out in like smaller bunches, and basically either suicide or kind of push over here to maybe where you could have ran through everything here or gotten close to maybe do a little bit of damage, but that still would have been able to delay a little bit of the reinforcement to the pass, which still could be favoring BxS and SXB. So on one hand, I almost would have liked to see an EIS and EIL just kind of take it a little bit faster, even though TFS and AFS were setting up. The horde or the amount really wasn't as much as it is now if they just kind of would have went in sooner. So it's interesting, right? Because on the EIS EIL front, I wonder if they weighed that out. Did they weigh out pushing and going in? Did they have someone who was already looking ahead as they were moving together and making that call on, yeah, we're either going to kind of stage ourselves here outside of the spire, or we're going to go in? Because maybe they're thinking to themselves, well, the fact that we've taken away this amount of units already from the pass, maybe that's good enough. However, you know, it's not as though, you know, as long as you have 1 or 2 legions, I would imagine, just to reinforce the rally at that point, and the fact that TFS already has done what I think is a great move here, which is building their territory out along with AFS in a way where they're getting as many player cities as they can, as close to the pass as possible, so it's already shortening their resupply times. The fact is they'll be able to reinforce the pass a lot more efficiently. And again, if there are some advantages to a degree on defense, then they're kind of already in somewhat of, I would say, a little bit better of a situation than they could have been. So yeah, anyways, now we're basically at a standoff here with nothing really happening with the exception of the constant action that's happening here. And you can see, it looks like the rally's still getting reinforced, still holding strong here against the triple rally for them. Let's go take a look at NOIR and NO2, because I am curious if are they ever going to move past this spire, or are they just going to chill here? That's the one thing I'm really curious about. And part of me is wondering, like, is it like a Staff of the Prophet kind of thing? Can they just not push because there's no way? I mean, they have to be able to get through these cities. It is funny how all of them are basically shielded that they're doing right now. I mean, are they just slow playing it? Do they just not care at all? Now, on the NO2 side, we'll go take a look up here. they're actually pushing. And NOIR is too, right? They're attacking towers and everything. But you can see here NO2 is attacking towers. I think they have 2. I think this is them on the 3rd one. They're putting that down. They have a 4th one they're hitting and a 5th. So they're attacking 5 towers right now simultaneously. And you can see the bastions too as well. There's our boy Grey Balls. Shout out to GB. And again, on the NOIR side, you can see here, if we go and take a look in front of their pass, on how much they're already doing, right? So you can see they got 1, 2 towers there, 3 towers there, 4 towers, 5. And they kind of did this smart thing, I think. Now, I don't know if they already planned this or if this was set up, but this is kind of smart for them to do. Where look at all the towers they're hitting, just because they built their flags as close as they could to the mountain range and the perimeter here, that they're then able to go and touch and connect. I mean, it really is a smart play if you think about it, right? Being able to get as much reach as humanly possible, and so they're ruining those 3. These are and so kind of puts them up there, right? So they're getting 3 flags, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're getting 8 flags all down simultaneously. NO2 is getting 5 flags down. And then if we go to the north side here, where you have RFS trying to hold out, you can see EIS and EIL right there up here. They got 3 flags. Looks like a keep. Let me see what else they got going on. The fort. So they have 5. So they got 3 flags, a keep, and a fort that they're putting work on right now and whittling down. But it is buying them some time. But it looks like AFS and RFS are predominantly holding strong, as it just doesn't. Oh, here we go. Here's the fight. Oh, they're taking it to them. This is exactly what I wanted to see them do. This is what we were just talking about leading up to the crescendo of this battle getting started. And the fact that AFS and TFS are taking it to EIS and EIL, once again, I think this is the right move, where you are applying the pressure and understanding that because you have the faster resupply time, it doesn't really do you a lot of good just to sit there and wait. You need to engage sooner. That way you're creating the run back and the resupply for them and the longer route, which allows for you just to basically reinforce your pass, and then also allows for you to either set yourself back up for success here at the bridge choke on this level 3 spire closer to your level 4 pass with BxS XXP, or it may even give you some fluidity where maybe you can just kind of push them back out and maybe reestablish a new choke point to fight at. But honestly, I think probably the most important thing here is, and you can see EIS and EIL actually having some decent spread here too as well for the 2 groups. Looks like EIL on the right, EIS on the left, TFS and AFS kind of just going in between, but you can kind of see the designated sides. Almost would like to see EIS branch off a little bit more over here and kind of, wing it so they can hit them fully from the west. EIL with some cav over there looking okay, but I mean, this is just a straight murder ball. Look at my girl Margaret. That's my girl. Where's Zendaya at? A lot of Greshkogos on the infantry up front. I mean, this is just a bloody massacre, and I am here for it all. But again, this is what we were talking about, where you're just seeing the all-out brawl mosh pit that's happening in front of the spire. And again, I like the fact that AFS and TFS didn't try to just sit there and fight on the bridge or come out a little bit and kind of bait them to come in. Now, I would like to see AFS and TFS spreading out a little bit more, because I think they have some opportunities to kind of work their way west over here and maybe do the same thing that I was just saying EIS could be doing. But again, maybe it's also a part of that they don't want to give the bridge up. So you can kind of see how they're consolidating a bit here, right? Where it almost kind of looks like a cross or like a star, kind of a curvy star. And where they're trying to kind of funnel and block the front of the bridge, and then also kind of banana peeling out just ever so slightly. So maybe that's a plan where they just don't really want EIS or EIL to make it past them. So they're trying to kind of focus or a little bit more of condensing the efforts there compared to if they did want to spread out. I mean, I'm sure maybe at least some of them could. But yeah, man, I mean, this is just, this is a nasty, nasty fight right now. And again, even if EIS and EIL are beating out TFS and AFS here, and I would really be curious to see the reports, because again, you can see deads that are just going back from both sides. The other thing is that once the fighting starts, I really would almost like to see TFS and AFS start flanking them from behind. And I wonder if that's happening as well. Oh, it is. Look at that, man. So you've got some people that are hitting them from the back as well, trying to focus some of the efforts. This is a great move here from some of the AFS team, where now it's like, okay, the moment the fighting starts and they engage, immediately start coming out and hitting them from the back, because that's going to eventually divert some of their efforts as well, which is just going to help you really clear out that horde sooner than later. And now we're seeing, it looks like EIS and EIL, and I think they're doing a good move here, man. They're pushing up a little bit more. They're trying to actually get closer to that bridge, at least to a point where maybe they're able to work their way over it by killing as many units as they can. I mean, this is a pretty dense group right now, and just imagine how much AoE they have to be taking in that small little kill zone box compared to EIS and EIL. I mean, they could even spread out a little bit over here too as well, and probably still hit them midway up the ramp on the range. Possibly if they can work over here on the east side of the spire, if you're even able to move over there where these two trees are, that could be something. But man, maybe the plan here for EIS and EIL is like, look, we're just going to jam you up the middle and push up the ramp. I mean, I actually think that's the best play for them. You can already see them making some headway right now, and TFS and AFS are backing up. EIS and EIL are slowly pushing, getting into, it looks like, a better position, waiting to kill some more units so they can start working their way across the bridge. I mean, this is the play that I want to see from them right now, because this is what you need to do. You apply as much pressure as you can. The moment that you push them off the bridge, you go ahead and you focus either on attacking who's right in front of you, or maybe if they're going to kind of attack and move, where they're going to really try to focus on getting as close to the bridge or that bridge over by the level 4 pass as much as possible. But this is, I mean, dude, they're making it work right now. The fact that they are pushing that back off the front of the bridge choke. Oh, I see. Is AFS and TFS maybe kind of counter psychologically playing this, where they figured, look, we've already fought them, we've engaged them long enough. Maybe they wanted just to kind of dial in their attention, and then they thought, let's back up and let's now focus the kill box on them. So right, the kill box was kind of on AFS and TFS a little bit, that EIS and EIL had an advantage on, but now they back up a little bit. They allow EIS and EIL to come across the bridge, thinking, hey, we're making this push, we're going to make some magic happen, we're doing something. And then all of a sudden, now AFS and TFS have kind of countered. Was that the approach here? Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. Oh, okay, tell mommy I love her so much. And she's the bestest girl in the world. Shh, okay. Shh, don't be loud. Okay. And so, yeah, this is, I mean, if you're really thinking about watching this in real time and noticing the turn of events, you know what, I'm just realizing right now that the volume might actually be a little bit loud here. Apologies. I realize I have this like maxed out. Maybe that's a little bit better now. Okay. Hopefully I wasn't talking too much and the volume wasn't too incredibly loud. So now that we've lowered it a little bit, because that could be an issue when I watch the playback. Sorry, I was just so into it. I didn't think that I had my volume up like a decent amount. I mean, let's go 12.2. That looks better. Okay. But now, again, EIS and EIL are getting cramped here on the bridge, and it does make you wonder, was this TFS and AFS's plan all along, which is, let's go ahead, let's battle them. You know how sometimes when you're doing something and you're doing an action for an extended period of time, and they say you've kind of got into like a rhythm to where you're kind of telegraphing yourself, and you've kind of settled into a zone, if you will, right after you've done something for like a minute or 2 minutes straight or whatever it is. There's some word for it that I probably have to Google to figure it out. But it almost to me kind of feels like a little bit of that happened here. And now TFS, AFS retreat a little bit, make it seem like EIS, EIL are now on the offensive and maybe getting a W here, but then they just hold them back, and now they're the ones that are just going after them. And look at this, dude, on the backside, they have sandwiched them in as well. We didn't even mention that too. I mean, to talk about just getting some nom 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 in. But is the strategy, are the tactics good? Are they working? Because the thing is EIS and EIL could still be getting good trades as well. It's not like maybe they're not. They could still be doing decently. And the whole point here really for them is just to kind of inflict as much damage, have AFS and TFS spend as much time, as much attention, as much focus on them, to where even if it creates a small opening for BxS and SXB, or if it just whittles them down a bit to where I imagine they're going to come back again. This isn't going to be like the one and only time they do this. But will this effort, will this run be good enough? Because now, with you kind of getting flanked from both sides, now you're the one taking, you know, I would say a little bit more AoE damage than TFS and AFS are, even though, yeah, the ball is still pretty clear. They could obviously be branching out a little bit more. Same thing with AFS, right? They could be branching out over here, spreading out, getting a little wider too. And maybe the plan here really for AFS on this side and some of the TFS people is just, look, we just need to block them. It doesn't really matter what happens here on this north side. Let's just block them in and really allow for TFS and AFS that are on the south side of the bridge just to do and inflict as much damage as possible. I mean, dude, look at the death units that are coming. And you still got a few more EIS people. I mean, that is just nutty. Oh my gosh, dude, this was sick. I mean, regardless, the fact that EIS and EIL walked all that way to engage, to get this fight on, dude, props to both sides. Like, this is the kind of back and forth tactical approaches, drawing you in, making the effort, engaging, initiating first. Man, that's the kind of strategy and just kind of macro tactics that I like to see, where to me, that's a lot more enjoyable. That's a lot of fun to watch, right? As I've said before, did I wish that this was happening in the final zone before we ended up getting to the cross zone 3 through the level 4 pass fights? Of course. But am I still happy to see some nice PvP going on? Dude, abso-freaking-lutely. Like, don't thread my ass with a good time. Jeez. Because you already know, man, I love watching. Like, just the excitement of what was happening there was awesome. Okay, so TFS, during that entire time, held the pass. Nothing happened there. They're still set. Wow, let's go see what NO2 and NOIR are doing. I want to go check in real quick because, man, this first one was an absolute banger, I have to say. Man, this was pretty cool. So let's see. Is NOIR still hanging out here? Oh, dude, they are. So they're not moving. They're not making any efforts. And part of me is now wondering, are they not making any efforts because they just can't move? They can't get past here? Part of me just feels like there's no way. They have to be able to go in between these buildings. So is there another reason why they're not moving? And I wonder if so, is someone going to point it out to me? Because I just don't know. Part of me just feels like there is no reason, right? And maybe I'm just missing something so obvious. But yeah, man, unless now what would be funny to me is if NOIR and NO2 were just like, dude, you guys got it. You're good. You know, we'll be there when we get there, right? And is that the ultimate flex form of disrespect that they're kind of 1v2ing in that situation? Now, obviously, it's not a pure 1v2 for TFS and AFS, right? It's kind of a 1.5 versus 1, or maybe like a 1 and 1.3, right? Or 1 1/4 versus 1 in that situation, because it's not as though EIS and AIL have all their troops there, but the fact that they're kind of going back and forth, right? And I'm sure they are. So they got 14 minutes on that one. So it looks like about, what, 10 to 20 minutes on these flags until they end up making some magic. Let's go see NO2 real quick, and then I want to see what EIS and EIL are doing, and then maybe we'll pause this one here. NO2. Yeah, man, they're still taking these down. Yeah, 32 minutes, 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be slower for NO2 just because of the amount. So let's see what's going on up here. Are they already kind of resetting up? Let's see if they're going to start restaging. I have to assume they will. They got 2 hours and 17 minutes on the fort. I mean, they are kind of max going these. They got 2.5 minutes on that, 35 minutes on that one, 39 minutes, 40 minutes on that flag. Okay, so it's going to be a minute. Let's see. I wonder if they are already resetting up, though. So that's so funny. AFS threw that down. They're just letting that bad grill slow build. All right, dude. So this, I mean, this was a massive. Let's see. Is it coming through here? Where's all those deads? I know. You know, they're probably already gone now that I think about it, right? So would have been through here. Oh no, they're not. They haven't even came back yet, dude. Let's just see that. I want to see where it starts. Oh god, that's just so massive, dude. Okay. So it starts here. Here's where like the main action starts. Let's just watch. Look at all that dead, man. There we go. Let's get right up nice and close. So there's the trail. Long trail, man. Which, to be fair, it would be like this for anyone who's probably doing a far when the match was pretty close. I mean, that is massive. Just look at all that. Oh my god, like now it's getting really close and thick. Oh my gosh, that's just sick. Like there's just so many units that are on the map. Oh my god. It's like a credit reel. It's like, you know, when you finish a movie and the credits, there's just so many and there's so much words and information on the screen. It's kind of what it reminds me of. So they got to do the walk back. Right, and from here they've only made it to right there. So they've made it from here to right here so far. They still have to go all the way back, I think, across. Yeah, so they have to go here to there, and then it's probably going to go up and down and then that way. Yeah. So they've made it a third of the way back, maybe 2/5 of the way back so far. And then they're going to have to come back here and then resupply and then re-engage. So they're probably going to restage around here, and then I would imagine once everyone gets back. But how long is that trip? Right, that would have been interesting if we looked at like when the fight finished or just before, looked at what the UTC time was, and then calculated how long is it taking for them to get back. I mean, I imagine we're probably looking at like 45-minute turnaround times, give or take, if they're just going to kind of go back to back. Maybe it's shorter than that. I'd be curious though from anyone that was in that fight, how long did it take for you to march there? Like I understand you had to kind of take stops, but on average, how long did it take for you to march there? How long did it take for the troops to come back? And then to re-engage, right? Because that would be curious on like what that turnaround time is per each attack cycle. Yeah, man. But okay, they hold on. And look, they move everything out, right? And now they're just refocusing back on the fight, right? And I imagine there's probably going to be massive rallies here. And that's the thing. That's the thing, man. I feel like the determining factor here, because this to me feels like this could go on for a long time, right? Because it really is in TFS's and AFS's priority to last as long as possible here, fighting. Because the longer they last and the longer they do not allow BxS and SXB to break this, means that that's going to be one, or it's kind of like two sides here. One side is it allows for NOIR and NO2 to push as much as possible. Dude, the balls on these guys. This is what I'm talking about. Oh man, I love this decision from them, which is, dude, you know what? Now that EIS and EIL is going back, let's, while we're fighting, go and bring the fight to SXB and BxS's open field on the other side of the pass, the cojones on these guys, and I am here for it, eating it all up. Not the cojones, the action. This is exciting. I mean, yeah, dude, this already fits what I would love to see them do, right? They're getting out there, realizing and recognizing that really at this point both sides have fast replenishment times. Of course, you're probably going to be a little bit faster on the side that you're attacking, but the fact is that they're applying some pressure. They're going out and attacking some units. Now, do they necessarily maybe need to do this? Is it maybe better for them to save legions, to save troops for the next EIS, EIL assault, if they're kind of thinking about playing the long game? You could probably make that argument. Now, if AFS and TFS feel like they can get the job done and clear out this open field outside of the pass, then I actually would take that as either a slight win or at least breaking even, but to a point where you're still whittling down some troops, and whether or not you're going to delay anything at any point, because if the rallies are still constantly going, you're still applying the pressure there, right? All you're really doing is kind of killing the reinforcement troops at that point. But do I like the fact that they're at least taking a challenge? Like they're seeing what they can get done by trying to push outside of the gate and apply some pressure on SXB and BxS and having it kind of be a two-pronged attack instead of just have it being kind of static in the sense of where it's just the rally and the garrison? I do. I very much like this play. And I wonder what if they're going to keep pushing this. It looks like they are still, or for a bit, do have some more units coming through. I wonder if they're blocked, which is why maybe they just can't get as many people out. Because typically in something like this, if you're trying to push out of a small area, sometimes the best approach is that instead of focusing the balls, right, you want to focus the front of the balls, right? So you would focus like the units here on the front, or maybe the frontal units here, or maybe you focus some units over here in the corner. Like you basically try to create pockets within the fight and then just hope that they're not going to be able to refill those areas as quickly. And then you just kind of keep edging out and moving your units and troops into them. So that way you can kind of just get more people out of basically what is a very condensed kill box and kill zone at the moment. But yeah, I mean, man, this is nice to see. God, dude, look at all the mages that are being ran. Wow. And actually, there's a lot of infantry. We saw a lot of infantry in that fight between TFS, AFS, and EIS and EIL. A decent amount. And, man, it just really looks like, I mean, it's funny because that's the thing I often hear is that a lot of people are just, you know, you not want to say asking, but maybe hoping that more people are going to be training a lot more infantry, as it very much seems as though they're coming a little bit more into the fold, which is nice compared to what it really used to be a number of seasons ago. Dude, they are just still going at it. BxS still, and SXB, right, taking some time. I wonder if they're not pushing up heavily right here because they still want to kind of create this little gap. So they kind of have this kill box generated at all times and really puts more of the emphasis on AFS and TFS to kind of make a move, but still funnels them into kind of a small circle where you can see here, I mean, they're pretty spread out decently, right? I mean, there's a pretty dense ball right here, kind of lighter, but you can see they're kind of spreading out as much as they can. Now, maybe BxS could spread out a little bit more here on the left, but and again, they could spread out more if they backed up a little bit and kind of made their arc a little wider, but at the same time, it would maybe also open the area that they have in here when trying to push. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure the BxS people are probably excited at least to get some open field action so it's not just all about the rally. So, and yeah, man, TFS and AFS, again, making that decision to where we're not just going to sit there and rally and garrison, but you know what, we're okay with trying to push. We're trying to bring a fight to the open field to make it exciting, to add another layer to the PvP. I'm all for it, right? And I'm sure for them, it's probably, you know, let's test this, let's try it out, let's see if it's going to be worth it to do it. And I think doing some of those trial and error situations, right, to see if something may pay off, even if there is a little risk or a high risk, just to kind of see what level of awards you may be getting at the end, you know, in conclusion, or once it's all said and done. Man, we've been going almost 32 minutes here, and my excitement level is still pretty much at an all-time high. Oh boy, they are going hard, man. And this has been absolutely fun and so enjoyable to watch. I just hope, and I'm going to call it early, I just hope that the fighting is going to last longer than a few days, right? My view, simply put, is that if this ends up lasting a few days or less, I just very much feel that it could be an extreme letdown. Because I think my expectations have already been set, and I would imagine everyone, shout out to my boy Jestar, is that people's expectations have to be at a higher standard at this point for, and I'll refer to it all the time, right, for the NOIR and TFS fight we saw in SB1, where they basically fought for about 2.5, 3 weeks straight, very hardcore, but still had light to medium fighting throughout the entire season once they got into final zone. And so, honestly, man, to me, it just feels like anything less than like a week of fighting is just lackluster at this point, you know? And it doesn't mean they need to be going kind of balls to the wall the entire time, but usually in the beginning you're typically going to see a lot more of that, and then as time goes on, as time continues and goes on, you'll probably see more just spurts, right? So it'll be like big engagements, or it'll probably go from 24/7, right, to where maybe we'll have 4 or 5 big engagements throughout the day, right? Then as time continues to go on, maybe that'll number will dwindle, so it'll be like 5 big engagements a day, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. And which is somewhat normal, right, for what we usually see. Yo, Zero Cobra, my boy. I think Zero Cobra was from 65 too. I think he was there for a little bit. ATL Recon, what's up? Dude, so many cool peeps, man, that are fighting nonstop. I think we saw Jason too. Yeah, there he is. There's a boy Jake Easy on the front line. Put that work in. You dig those holes, man. You make those. What are they? Not divots. Trenches. You dig those trenches. Oh my gosh, man. So much action happening. All right. I think I'm going to call it here. We've been at this almost 34 minutes of basically seeing nonstop action since the start of the fight. This has been an absolute blast. I'm going to try and get you guys as much PvP and action as I can from a number of the other KvKs, even if we're not able to stream, right? If I can find some time to record and show you guys some of the fighting, especially if I can get it to you kind of in that day as it's happening. This has been awesome, man. Shout out to both sides, to everyone involved so far that's been fighting. You know, again, it is early, right? We'll probably have to wait until we get to a number of more engagements, maybe until, right, we hit like the first 12-hour mark, until we hit maybe the 24-hour mark and kind of see where everything stands at that point. If they're really still going hard, is EIS and EIO really factoring in? Does that assist and help out SXB and BxS break the level 4 pass? Is NOIR and NO2 able to factor in at any point within the first 24 hours? We'll see. There's still a lot of questions that we have, but the fact that the beginning stages of this is not disappointing at all, I'm happy about. That's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And who do you think is going to impact first? Do you think EIS and EIL is going to impact their group first by applying enough pressure on TFS and AFS to where BxS and SXB can block? Or do you think NOIR and NO2 is going to apply enough pressure first to where either SXB and BxS or EIL and EIS will kind of foldish first to where TFS and AFS will be able to start making some headway, whether that's recovering the level 4 pass to the north or being able to push out a little bit more significantly or at all on the south side? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.